This video was sponsored by Anaheim Electronics. Check out the link in the description to find out more about Anaheim's great history. In UC-0079, the Principality of Zeon bragged of having mobile suits whose speed competed with conventional aircraft, their statements confusing Federation leaders. What they were talking about was a machine unlike any other. A mobile suit that could move as fast as an aircraft by floating right above the ground, and for months Zeon developed a unique design under a shroud of secrecy. But these giant otherworldly machines all but disappeared after the fall of the Principality of Zeon. At the beginning of the One-Year War, even the fastest and most expensive mobile suits were not able to exceed a speed of 200 km per hour. Held back by the fundamental mechanical strain put on a mobile suit when moving at such high speeds. This was a problem that even the best of Zeon's engineers were not able to solve, leading to the deployment of the Gundam. But the genius minds at Zimmert had a radical idea. What, instead of trying to move the mobile suit in a conventional way, they treated it more like an aircraft, completely avoiding the mechanical strain of previous approaches. While this would pose new challenges, it would also allow for unparalleled ground speeds. Once the mobile suit was outputting enough energy, they would lift right above the ground, but they wouldn't fly like aircraft. Instead, they would glide on a cushion of air, using the ground effect. And Zimmert would use it to revolutionize mobile suits. Zimmert made plans and proof of concepts, but the only way they could get to the resources to fully develop such a revolutionary machine in the highly competitive One-Year War was if they were able to prove its military potential. Zimmert's mobile suits were called DOMs. They had the ability to float at aircraft-like speeds, low to the ground where they could avoid being easily spotted, move across any terrain, and pass right over mines. They could also arrive at battle sites faster than any other mobile suits, and they promised to be relatively cheap and simple to build, using mostly existing materials and technologies. Zimmert immediately got the attention of Zeon's top military brass, and even Dosal Zabi. Easily swayed by big, bold projects, Dosal saw potential in a technology that the Federation didn't have. So the floodgates of military funding blew open, and Zimmert immediately went to work scaling the early prototypes. Over a period of just 6 months, they went from simple stopgaps such as the DODI-YS to this, a 60.8 metric ton monster they called the MS-09. It was a machine that looked unlike anything that Zeon had. Up to that point, the MS-09 could travel at over 300 km per hour for up to 5 hours. When its production model, the DOM, was completed in UC-0079, it was by far the fastest ground-based mobile suit, and had an impressive lift-to-drag ratio, unmatched by any other mobile suit. To get these massive machines into the ground effect, it used an array of thrusters on its back and under its skirt and feet, creating a temporary hovercraft. But once in ground effect, the engines could cool off, only needing a small amount of thrust to keep the up to 82 metric ton machine moving. Sensors in the feet were used to counter the uneven terrain the DOM would move on. This was necessary to provide uninterrupted control at higher speeds. First tested at California base for several weeks, the MS-09 fully proved its military use, but it also revealed several flaws. Unlike the Zaku II, the complexity of the YMS made it a tricky machine to maintain. Its use of the ground effect also made it notoriously difficult to operate. Moving safely within the ground effect was an exhausting experience for pilots, and the YMS-09 needed larger distances to move, making precise actions at high speeds harder. These were the kind of challenges that faced the engineering team developing an entirely new type of mobile suit. With further development, maybe Zimmerd could have resolved most of these issues. But it was the 1-year war, so it was already too late. By the time that the mobile suit had its first tests, the Federation already had its own set of mobile suits and the entire mood had shifted. Zeon saw further development as an unnecessary gamble, and so the mobile suit's issues were ignored, leading to its first field tests. But against all odds, the machine's issues were way less problematic than previously expected. It was seen as a full success, and after small, mostly cosmetic changes, it was sent into full-scale mass production as the MS-09 DOM. The DOM was fast, but it couldn't outrun Zeon's death spiral. With dwindling resources, the DOM's production took longer than expected, leading to the mass adoption of the model being too late for it to change the tide of war. But even after the war, the machine stayed a truly unique and radical mobile suit, well loved by its pilots and feared by its enemies. Its high speeds and use of the ground effect still sometimes being used in other machines like the RMS-154 Barzum. Its use of the ground effect for its high speeds could make it the most efficient way of travel for a mobile suit. But with the development of the movable frame and the advent of the transformable mobile suit, the dreams of a machine that could move as fast as an aircraft were interchanged with the dream of a machine that could simply become the aircraft itself. Which means that for the time being, fast-moving ground-based mobile suits will mostly stay a relic of the 1-year war.